Hello, dear ones. Hello, French teachers, elementary teachers, passionate teachers. Welcome to the fourth slide of the George story. And this is my last demonstration in that format. Going forward, if you would like to have more supports, additional supports, different supports, just contact me directly. Yeah. All right, let me get you guys into my computer. There we go. And bringing up the George slides. Here we go. All right. So back to the basics. Why are we doing what we're doing? We are doing what we're doing because we want to be magical communicators. Forget the verbs, forget the grammar, forget all of that stuff, and just simply enjoy the story and do whatever you need to do to get to that place. It can mean, it probably will mean including students as members of the story. It includes engaging your students in such a way that their interests and they themselves are in that story. These are surefire ways to get that magic happening in our classrooms. Before we get any further, um, I just finished, well, I haven't finished, but I have reached a milestone with this particular document here called Brain Breaks. When we do comprehensible input in TPRS, it's a lot of input, obviously, because we learn through input, not through output. We learn a language by listening and watching, not by speaking. Remember that important piece. So sometimes having a 2, 3 minute break, not more, really short and sweet, can be super helpful. And that brain breaks do just that. Let me take you to, I have this bar in my way and I can't move. Here we go. This is our shared district French resources folder. And in here is that brain breaks document. So you can go right in here. You go straight on slideshow and you click through it. Here's what our brain breaks, a quick definition. And then here is like a table of contents. You can click on any of these pictures and they will take you into the PowerPoint right there. So for example, ha ha, right here you are, description, and so on. And there's a back button and you can click here and this way you don't have to do any of the scrolling. Most of these activities do not require preparation or any ingredients. They're just simply read and do. And so you could even ask your students, hey guys, which brain break do you want to do today? Which picture do you want to explore? And there you go. So if you find that the attention span is getting a little slower, this is a brain break can be a great way to continue the lesson. And some of them include language, some of them are just silliness or just a physical challenge they do again during 2 or 3 minutes. Last week, um, I introduced the idea of having a translation piece on the board as they walk in, the students walk in. This was last week's sentence. Il y a un garçon, le garçon est George. This is what we're doing this week. Mon travail, my work. Il est en Californie. Georges est grand. Paula est petite. Students copy the two, or in this case, three sentences from the board and underneath write the translation. And so what we did last week is I just went with a pen quickly from student to student, gave them feedback, things like periods, capitalization at the beginning of the sentence, are sort of some of the feedback we had to give, but all of them, really all of them, were able to do these translations. So this is one way to welcome them to class, to get them going right away, especially if there are sometimes a few delays with bathrooms and water and all of that stuff. Bonjour mes amis, bonjour. Bonjour mes amis, bonjour. Bonjour mes amis, bonjour mes amis, bonjour mes amis, bonjour. Sing that once or twice, and it's time to assign classroom jobs. We're this week at 3 jobs. In our shared district French resource folder under TPRSCI is a huge list of classroom jobs. Oh my God. We're now at 3, but you can add another job every single week. Not every student is always going to be busy every week, but there are lots of jobs to be done. And that really helps with discipline. Kids love doing these jobs. La personne responsable pour le son, so that's our sound effect person, mainly comes in when we do who, qui, huh? Who? L'écrit, the scribe, the person who writes down what's happening in our story. And this week, what's new? Qui est le ou la juge? Who is the judge? The judge role is the person, we say, okay, the new person in our story is his name. So what are some ideas? Henry. Okay, Paul. We have Lady Gaga. Okay. And if you as a teacher don't want to make a decision and you have the judge, a student, who decides what the character's name is. So whenever a decision needs to be made and you're not super, as a teacher, not super passionate about what it's going to be or not be, you can defer that decision making to the judge, le ou la juge. Now for the scribe, that second job here, l'écrit, I have come up with this little thingy, and I'm so happy with it. I went to the dollar store for the notebook, and on some of them it actually says "not" in English and French because it's the same word. And I went to Michael's and I got this beautiful feather. It was in the plant section, and I attached it with duct tape to a pen, and so this can be in your classroom, and one student writes down what's happening in our story. Again, they love that stuff. If you would like this set, you let me know and I made a few, I got about 6 of them. I will send you one of those books with a fancy schmancy fun pen that the kids love so much. Okay. Ça va? How are you doing? You could spend a class just like easily 20, 30 minutes on this, or you do it for 3 or 4 minutes. Je suis heureuse, je suis fatiguée, je suis anxieuse, je suis confiante, je suis triste. Oh là là, je suis triste. And you can work that. And triste is one of those words that doesn't have a female. It's just one form only, so it's even easier, huh? So last week, what I saw a teacher do, which was brilliant, she asked the students, ça va? And the student said, oh, je suis fatiguée. So let's say Mary said, je suis fatiguée. She then went to another student and said, qui est fatigué? And you can test if that student paid attention. Oh, Marie est fatiguée. Oui, classe, Marie est fatiguée. And you can do the triangling and the circling right here. Qui est confiant? Je suis anxieuse et fatiguée. Oh, what a terrible combination. And you can work that vocabulary. TPR, total physical response, making sure they're seated properly in their chairs. They can get in and out quickly. Levez-vous, asseyez-vous. Last week I introduced the adverb romantiquement, romantically. So they had to get up romantically and dance romantically and walk romantically. It was really, really fun. And some of the kids just like, how do I do that? So it was super fun. Lever le bras, lever la main, lever le pied. They had all 4 feet and legs in the air, so it was really fun. So this is a way to get especially verbs in quick, fast, immediately. With lots of repetition without getting boring, especially verbs that are useful in the classroom. Huh? Just last week, again, I saw a teacher say, baissez le bras, huh? Put your arm down, because that's The students understood because we're doing that in TPR. Put your hand down. Respectively, levez la main, raise your hand if you think you know the answer. Marchez, marchez, venez, hein, come here. Voilà. And I remind students always, all you need to do, we know that from language acquisition research, all you need to do to learn a language is regarde et écoute, watch and listen. We don't learn a language by speaking, we learn a language by watching and listening. And here is our daily read. Georges est en Californie. So note, I have now gotten rid of the first part of the story. Il y a un garçon, le garçon et George. We really got that. And instead, we jump in at slide 2. Georges est en Californie. Paula la pizza est en Colombie-Britannique. Il y a un problème. Georges a un problème. We don't know what his problem is in this particular instance. Paula la pizza n'a pas de problème. Paula a un dragon. She doesn't have a problem. She has a dragon. Why? Because we determined that the last time we were together. Now, I don't have an audience today, and that's perfectly okay. But of course, it makes it a little harder for me to demonstrate these slides. So I'm afraid I'm giving you a short version here. If you want to see me do the full circling triangling on our TPRS CI website, there are videos of me working with small groups of students using a lot of circling with actual people. And it's much easier than to use describe the situation, circling, and triangling. Alors, but I think the strength of these videos is I show you the progression from week to week when we add comprehensible input elements into our work. Alors, so here is the next part of our story. And again, I am not expecting you to be at slide 4 in lesson or the fourth time you meet your class. I really encourage you to slow it down. You know, in addition to Paula La Pizza, add a student. That is when students really get excited and really get engaged when they themselves. So we would have George, Paula the pizza, and Owen. Owen from right in front of you. Owen is now a character in our story. So we know George is tall, Paula is short, George is in California, Paula is in British Columbia, but where is Owen? Aha! Oh, Owen is in Timbuktu. Of course. No, he's in Honolulu. Of course he's in Honolulu. So uh, work it, work it, work it. It allowed when we add maybe up to 3 characters, so George and 2 parallel characters, it stays manageable and becomes really fun. And we can then go down all these rabbit holes. Alors, so here is our new slide, our new input on the story. Georges n'a pas de Coca-Cola. Classe! Georges n'a pas de Coca-Cola. Oh! Classe, Georges n'a pas de Coca-Cola. Oh la 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 la. What could that mean? So you work on the translation. George doesn't have a Coca-Cola. Excuse me. So in French, of course, ne pas, we need 2 words. In English, we need 1 word. Excuse me. Hiccups. Hiccups. George does not have a Coca-Cola. In French, we need ne pas. Georges n'a pas de Coca-Cola. 2 words for 1 word in English. And that's why French translations, English to French translation, the French translation is always longer because the words are longer, more words, and so on. Georges n'a pas de Coca-Cola. George does not have any Coca-Cola. Georges n'a pas de Coca-Cola. Classe, oui, madame. Georges n'a pas de Coca-Cola. Oui, oui, classe. Georges n'a pas de Coca-Cola. Classe, oui, madame. Georges n'a pas de banane. Banane, hein, une banane. Non, 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 non. Georges n'a pas de Coca-Cola. Georges n'a pas de banane. Georges n'a pas de Coca-Cola. Classe. Georges n'a pas de Coca-Cola. Ou Georges n'a pas de banane. Pas de Coca-Cola. Oui, classe. Georges n'a pas de Coca-Cola. Classe. Oui, madame. Georges n'a pas de chocolat. Non, 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 c'est fou, hein, c'est fou. George n'a pas de Coca-Cola. George a du chocolat, hein. Maybe he has chocolate. George a du chocolat, mais George n'a pas de Coca-Cola. Glace, oui, madame. George n'a pas de girafe. Non, c'est fou, hein. That's crazy, c'est fou. George n'a pas de Coca-Cola. Oui, c'est ça, George n'a pas de Coca-Cola. Owen, Owen, oui, madame. Owen, tu es George, you are George. George, tu n'as pas de Coca-Cola? Oui, je n'ai pas de Coca-Cola. Oui, George, oh là là, tu n'as pas de Coca-Cola. Classe, il n'a pas de Coca-Cola. Un, deux, trois. Bravo. Everybody clap. Suzy, Suzy, tu es George. George, Suzy George, tu as une banane? Non, je n'ai pas de Coca-Cola. Oui, Suzy, tu n'as pas de Coca-Cola. Naturellement, naturally, of course, tu n'as pas de Coca-Cola. Classe, elle n'a pas de Coca-Cola. And of course, we can bring in this table. And we do a couple of triangling. We can then go back and add Paula the pizza. Class. Um, Paula la pizza n'a pas de Coca-Cola? Non, naturellement, Paula la pizza a du Coca-Cola. Paula la pizza, qu'est-ce qu'elle n'a pas? What doesn't she have? Qu'est-ce qu'elle n'a pas? Oh, and we collect ideas. What could she not have? So we know Paula la pizza is small. She is in Italy. We know that she has a dragon. Aha, Paula la pizza n'a pas de poulet. She doesn't have a chicken for her dragon. Oh là là. And we can elaborate on that. Alors, Georges n'a pas de Coca-Cola et Paula la pizza n'a pas de girafe. Non, Paula la pizza n'a pas de poulet. Euh, ou, qui n'a pas de Coca-Cola? Georges n'a pas de Coca-Cola, oui. Qu'est-ce que Qu'est-ce qu'il n'a pas? Qu'est-ce qu'il n'a pas? What doesn't he have? Qu'est-ce qu'il n'a pas? Georges n'a pas de Coca-Cola. Oui, naturellement, classe. Georges n'a pas de Coca-Cola. And we can go into describing the situation. Um, Describe the situation. What do we know so far? Oui, Georges a un problème. Georges n'a pas de Coca-Cola. Paul à la pizza a un dragon. Paul à la pizza n'a pas de poulet. Oh là là. And this could be sort of that chunk of language that we're working at this point in time. And you go around and around and around. You may intercept it with a brain break, and you now have all those ideas. You can ask them, where are you on that scale from 1 to 5? 1 is, I have no idea what's going on. 5 is, this is easy peasy. I can do it in my sleep without looking at the slides. As an exit ticket this week, you could use the grab a pencil game. You match up students, they face each other, and smack in the middle between each student is a pencil. And you, as a teacher, now make statements. Statements that are true, statements that are false. If you make a false statement, nothing happens. If you make a truthful statement, something that is happening, that we agreed is happening in our story, like Paula et Petite, the students have to grab the pencil, and whoever grabs it first wins that point. Of course, you have agreements on not ripping away once it's grabbed, not hurting each other, set it up so you have a successful experience. So you could say, classe, Paul est Georges est en Italie. Of course, we know George is not in Italy, so nobody grabs the pencil. Georges est grand. And everybody grabs the pencil. Whoever gets it first gets a point. Put the pencil back. Georges est en Californie et il a un dragon. George is in California and he has a dragon. Oh, no, that's wrong. Paula has a dragon, huh? And so on and so on. So nobody would, in this case, when it's wrong, nobody grabs the pen. Alternatively, and I would recommend you actually do that around now, you could do a 5-minute write. So a 5-minute write is you give everyone one of those sheets, and those are in the Shared District French Resources folder under TPRS CI. It is in Spanish, so ignore that, please. I haven't updated that yet to reflect French. And you show the students how to use that form. Every word goes on a line. So if it's just a N apostrophe, it's a word. N apostrophe goes online, as in il n'a pas de Coca-Cola. And the students have 5 minutes, and in those 5 minutes, they write down whatever they know of the story and writing one word on each line, um, whatever falls out of their pen. And they can, of course, look around the room and maybe they find an inspiration, a word. Oh, yeah, garçon. Georges est un garçon. Il est un garçon. And they write that down. And if it's initially, um, it doesn't make a lot of sense yet, or uh, they're making kind of lists. It's okay. It's okay. We're at the very beginning. Their written output will improve dramatically over time. So a 5-minute write is recommended to be done maybe every 5 or 6 classes or so. And as a teacher, you then write down in your book how many words they wrote. And you see them going from 15 words to 35 words to 60 words to like, oh my God, 5 minutes are up and I could still keep on writing. And you will see that happening with your students. In the end, you could even have them reflect on what made it comprehensible, understandable, what made the environment supportive, and what made it interesting. And this way, they become a little bit more self aware of what actually works when they learn a language. All right, so this is it for today. Thank you so much for your interest. I hope this was helpful. And again, I'm happy to come to your classroom and either do a demo lesson or co-teach with you. It's a little bit like playing jazz. You have a question, I come in with the next question. We weave. Whenever one of us is gobsmacked, and where do we go from here? Then the other person can join in. All right. Let me know how I can support you. Thank you so much. Au revoir. Salut.